was too late.
Right.
To go to my neighbor.
Well, I understand that you were in Kerala. You didn't have a group of 10 Jews to pray with. But I think here all you have to do is roll down the stairs, right? That's it. You know what? No excuses. That's the problem, isn't it? That's it. There's going to be a new escalator. You don't even have to take the stairs. You just sort of stand up and zoom or slide. They'll take you straight into the Beit Midrash. The truth is, when they do a renovation here, they're going to make another trick. Is that from the dormitory, it's just going to have a slide straight into the mikvah. It's a pool, like those slides into the pool. And that's it. You just go straight down, and then you come out. You're refreshed, and you're ready for shacharit. Even then, I bet you people will be late. They'll get up late.
The water has to be like warm, you know?
Ooh, sore point. No warm water. Cold water.
The cold is invigorating.
You shower in cold?
Sometimes you need the cold.
Sometimes. Okay. Once a month. Okay.
You're shaken up, to center everything.
Right.
Too much comfort is like.
Okay, listen. So it's a tough mitzvah getting up in the morning, and it's tough to go to the synagogue and pray with the minyan. But it's an important one. We're going to talk about it another time. But even more important is that there are some prayers that are, I'll use my Latin, sine qua non. They're a must. They're necessary. If you don't say them, you can't come to class. I told this to you a few months ago. You remember? Which ones? Which ones? Do you have to? First of all, there's other prayers that have a time limit. I don't know if you heard about this. The Shema, you have to say it in the morning when you get up. It says in the Torah, when people get up. So people don't get up at 11 in the afternoon, 12 in the afternoon. But people do there's a time that you really should be saying it on time. Not so much Yishtabach. The Shema has a time that I noticed this morning, there's different calculations of time. How to calculate the day. In the Jewish day, it goes from sunrise to sunset, or it goes from dawn to dusk, to when the stars come out. So there's all sorts of calculations. According to one of the calculations, 8:37 or 8:38 today was the last time for Shema. In the morning.
From 5.
You can actually start earlier by 5:30, yeah, by 5:30.
Like 3 hours.
Yeah, first 3 hours of the day. That's exactly, yeah.
9 or 8.
That's the second opinion. The Balatanya's opinion, but there's another opinion that makes it earlier, and that's 8:37 or 8:38, right?
So Shema takes more precedence than the Amida.
Yeah, Shema's got a shorter time window.
So again, I'm 8:35.
8:35. I saw 8:37 on the board. Okay. 9, 10, and 11. Okay, yeah.
The shower?
Showering is a good thing to do. You have to be clean. But there's no time limit. You can shower any time of the day you want.
Yes.
Before, after. It's always good to be clean, but you can pray without taking a shower.
Yeah,
They do in
but
Army.
That's right.
The Army,
I
they don't
feel
shower.
guilty
That's right.
because usually I always my life take a bath.
First thing in the morning.
Yeah.
That's your life. Okay, it's a good custom. You're allowed to jump in the shower if it's part of your preparation for prayers. You're not supposed to tarry and do too much other stuff, things that you take too much
What
time.
makes a shower and a mikvah different? The ritual
Good question. So the mikvah is formed, it's built, very special manner. The water that you get in the mikvah is not what you get in the taps. Right over here, Binyamin. You have Binyamin right behind you. The waters in the mikvah come from the rain waters.
Oh,
Yeah, they collect it. They collect it, and there's a system of filtration, so it's clean. But it's special waters that had never been collected in a vessel, in a bowl or in a pool. Right. Only rainwater. A river is considered to be rainwater because it comes from if it's a natural river, then it's rainwater, or it's a spring, which is also rainwater, which came in under the ground to the aquifer and comes up at some place. So spring or rainwater is what we need for a mikvah. So it's quite a technique how to create them, and then to maintain it so that it's still healthy and hygienic. But all the mikvahs that we have are pretty good. And so you can't just do a mikvah in a bathtub. Yeah, faucet is already not considered to be.
And what about the pool, the actual, without the water?
Swimming pool? What do you mean?
When they build it out of stone or something, that doesn't matter. You have plastic, metal.
If it's rainwater, no, it doesn't have to be stone. No, anything. If you collect rainwater, it has to have a certain measurement. The mikvah has to have a certain amount. A container is fine as long as you don't transfer it from that container to something else. If that's the original container that it's collected in, then you go to the mikvah in that container if it's big enough. You create some kind of that's what a mikvah is. It's a container that collects, but it's got to collect the rainwater firsthand. It's got to be without any other vessels along the way, because that's a mikvah. Anyways, some people go to the mikvah every day.
Wow, why?
Yeah. Mikvah traditionally is the method of purifying oneself. In the temple era, when we had the laws of purity and impurity, for ritual purity, for going to the temple, that's the way to get pure, by going into the mikvah. So it's a very ancient custom. And even though we don't keep those laws anymore, we don't have a temple. The idea that there is a mikvah which purifies you is very compelling. And there's some communities are very careful about it. They go to the mikveh every day. But mostly, most Orthodox Jews, the men only go, once a year or 3 times a year before the holidays.
3 times a year?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Though the major reason we have to have a mikveh in a community is for the women, not for the men. Because their monthly menstrual cycle makes them forbidden to their husbands. Besides the fact that they're considered impure for going to the temple, that doesn't concern us right now until the temple is rebuilt. But for them to be permitted, they have to go to the mikvah once a month if they have a menstrual cycle. Obviously, if they're after menopause, they don't need to go to the mikvah. If they're pregnant, they don't need to go to the mikvah because they're not menstruating. But those other times of their life cycle, once a month, they got to go to the mikvah approximately. Yeah.
So I heard a story, maybe 100 years ago, I think, in Russia, there was a couple. They didn't have a mikvah.
Yeah.
They never had relationship for 20 years or so.
Oy vey.
Until they came to Eretz Israel.
Wow. Well, that's really rare because it's really not allowed. And you're supposed to find a way. You're supposed to sleep with your wife. It's a mitzvah to have, marital relations. And I thought you were going to tell a story that it's just tremendous bravery of the women in particular, that they would break through the ice of the lake and dip into the freezing cold lake once a month in order to become permitted. And this was to keep the laws of the Torah. Tremendous dedication. That I've heard of, but to be alone forever, that's not right. That's not the Jewish way. You got to find a way to get to a mikvah. People traveled for days maybe to get to a mikvah and come back, or they went into the ocean, freezing cold, even in the winter. Yeah, because
the ocean and river is a mikvah. You don't need.
Yes. If you happen to have an ocean nearby, yeah. Yeah, that's a kosher mikvah. It's a kosher mikvah. It's a little more complicated because, the mikvahs we have nowadays have lighting. Electricity is important. Wow. No, the lighting, I don't mean inside the pool. I mean outside, because when you go into the mikveh, you got to make sure you're totally clean. You got to be clean. And that means that you've checked your body, that you don't have any mud on you, or not even one hair. If the hair is detached, it's like separating between you and the waters. So before a woman goes to the mikvah, she cuts her nails because there might be some dirt under the nails. She cleans out her eyes because there might be some dirt on the sides of the eyes. And she takes a bath to make sure that whatever dirt is not going to separate between her body and the waters. And that's easier to do when you can see what you're doing. If you're in the dark and you're going to go into the ocean, also the truth is one other reason that nowadays, you know what we have? The common custom is, it's already hundreds and hundreds of years. There's an attendant in the mikvah, for women anyways. The women's mikvahs have an attendant so that the woman can oversee her friend to make sure that all her hair is, if somebody has long hair, could be she's under the water, all totally surrounded by the water at one time. But one hair is floating up to the top of the waters. And then it's not kosher because not her entire body is inside the mikvah. And so there's usually an attendant that can see that none of the hairs were outside the waters. But in the dark, you can't see. So it's quite a trick. Not ideal. But like I said, like you said, in extenuating circumstances, you have no choice. It's still, as long as you can maybe put some kind of a hairnet on you, or women that have short hair, obviously, don't have to worry about the hairs going outside of the mikvah. They dive deep in. And it's kosher. An ocean is a kosher mikvah. Tremendous dedication, even in the winter in Russia. People would go to the mikveh that way when they had no built mikveh with heating. Nowadays, our mikvahs in civilized countries are heated, and there's a shower there, and bathtubs they can prepare. Yeah, much better. Anyways, that's just besides the point. I was trying to say that you get up in the morning, you're allowed to go to the mikvah if that's your custom, and you're allowed to take a shower if that's your custom, as long as you don't tarry and spend an hour in the country club having a sauna or something. That's not appropriate before the davening. First thing you're supposed to do in the morning is to pray. And the window of opportunity for the Shema is one thing to consider. You really got to say that. For prayers, you've got an extra longer window. How long's the window? Nope. The standard is that for Shema, first 3 hours of the day, as Hanoch was saying, the first 3 hours. And Sof Zman Tefillah is 4 hours of the day. So you get an extra hour, but still there's a short window. It's true that if you miss that window, you still pray. And if you miss the window with Shema, you still say the Shema. Even in the afternoon, you should say the Shema if you didn't say it in the morning. You always should say the Shema, but you're not doing the proper mitzvah in its time if you don't say the Shema in the first 3 hours. And the Amidah, right, the essence of Tefillah is the Amidah prayer, the Shemona Esrei, during the window of the 4 hours. So those are the windows of opportunity. But what about the rest? There's another prayer, which I've taught you already, is a must. In this class, at least, in this yeshiva. What are we doing here? We're learning Torah. There is Birkat Torah. There is a bracha before studying Torah. Chanoch, I want you to make it your practice from today on. Every day, even if you don't say the full prayers, you've got to say page 10. Everybody turn to page 10, please. We're taking a brief break from the brachos on food because we were talking about the brachos that are from the Torah. The highest level brachot is Birkat HaMazon. We've been studying
English or Hebrew?
either one. And the truth is that there is a tradition, the Ramban, Nachmanides. Let me just say a bracha here. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'akol nהיה b'dvaro. Amen. he writes that there's two mitzvot that are from the Torah, two brachot that are from the Torah. Not only Birkat HaMazon, also Birkat Torah. And so that's why I'm reminded of it here. That we learned about Birkat HaMazon and the first Torah level bracha. Let's learn a little bit. It's a reminder. We've covered this before, but on page 10 we have another brachot. It's actually a set of brachot, which, according to the Ramban, are also from the Torah. You must say these blessings before you study Torah. It's very important to appreciate that what we're doing here is not just sports. It's not just university study. We are engaging in a holy work. It's a very unique mitzvah. In many religions, there are precepts that you've got to keep to. Right? Some religions say you have to, go to church once a week. Some say you have to give certain alms to the poor. Right? Every religion's got their regimen. As far as I know, the only religion in the world that has a mitzvah, an obligation upon every member, not the clergy, every Jew has a mitzvah to study Torah. Mitzvah to study. You got to be Jewish, you got to know how to keep Shabbat, and you got to know how to learn Torah. Learning Torah is part of the mitzvahs of the Torah. It's very unique. And what does that mean? So it means, obviously, we study the Word of God. So the Word of God, we've been learning how there's a part of it was oral at some point, and part of it is written, right? And then there's different stages in the Jewish tradition. We call all of that Torah, the entire corpus of Jewish tradition that got passed down until today. We're studying now in this classroom. It's called Torah. So before we study Torah, we have to treat it with the holiness that it deserves. And the way we do that is by saying a bracha beforehand. Birkot, we say it in plural, Birkot Torah, the blessings over the Torah, because I want you now to help me find the three blessings on this page. First one starts obviously with Baruch Atah Hashem at the very top of page 11, right? Where does that bracha end? The word Torah is on line 2, correct. It's 2 lines. The first line on page 11 says Baruch Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam. The second line says Asher kishem tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah, to engage in the study of the words of Torah. That's bracha number 1. Yes?
I think my siddur has a different bracha.
You have a little bit of different wording. Maybe it's
Just al divrei Torah.
Al divrei Torah, not la'asok. Right, it's a different wording. It's true, there are traditions about the precise wording of this one. This is the Ashkenazi version, la'asok, to engage. It means you're supposed to ask questions. Give me a hard time. Not just sit there and listen. Right? Engaging means conversation, means involvement. That's bracha number 1. Where's bracha number 2 start? Where does bracha number 2 start, Stephen? Nope.
No, please.
Please,
The ha'arevna, right? Right after number 1 ended, and the second one starts. It doesn't start with the words Baruch. Many times we find that when there's a series of blessings, the second one doesn't, it sort of like piggybacks off of the first. So there's no Baruch Atah Hashem at the beginning of the second bracha. The ha'arevna, please Lord our God, make the words of your Torah sweet in our mouths. Wow.
What does that mean?
Sweet. Arev is sweet, pleasant.
Yeah, like eating.
It's the same letters. This is a different meaning. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe evenings are sweet. I don't know. Maybe they're connected, but they're different meanings. But the same letters. You got it. It's true. So the second bracha starts with the words, "Please, Lord our God, make the words of Torah sweet in our mouths." The ha'arev, sweeten in our mouths, na is the please. In English, they changed up the order of the words, but make the words of Torah sweet in our mouths. And where does the second bracha end? I'll keep reading. You tell me where to stop. Sweet, make the words of the Torah sweet in our mouths, the mouths of your people, the house of Israel, so that we are descendants and their descendants and the descendants of your people, the house of Israel. May all know you're not stopping me yet? Okay, may all know your name and study your Torah for its own sake. Blessed are you, Lord, who teaches Torah to his people Israel. Stop. Full stop, as they say in some places, right? You can see the Baruch Atah Hashem, blessed are you, Lord, who teaches Torah to his people Israel. Okay, so that's the end of bracha number 2. It's about who teaches Torah. So, who teaches us Torah? You, Hashem, you taught us Torah. Amazing. What a gift from heaven. He gave us so many gifts. He gave us man in the desert. What else did he give us? Gift. Hashem gave us
water out of the rock.
Water out of the rock. Shoo. He made miracles, split the sea for us, and then he gave us perhaps the greatest miracle of all. He gave us his word. Revelation. That has a content. We call it Torah. Torah literally means instruction. Lehorot is to instruct you, to guide you. So he gave us instructions. The Torah, those instructions include commandments, things we must do, right?
Rabbi,
Yes.
why is that sometimes we read some of the big rabbi, they say, Eliyahu come and teach them the Torah. But here we learn that is Hashem teach us the Torah.
That's right. So Eliyahu is a figure that appears in the prophets that's going to herald, to call out and announce that Mashiach is going to come. Mashiach, we believe that there's going to be a leader, a king, who's from the son of David, from the descendants of King David, who's once again, we're going to have another king from the house of David. And the prophet says that before that, Eliyahu, who was a prophet in the time of the kings, in period number 2 in the First Temple era, there's a tradition he's going to come back to life, and
He never died.
well, he went up to the heavens in a chariot of fire, right? Amazing story. I don't know what that means. It's a strange one. But I don't know exactly what the prophecy means, that Eliyahu will once again come and tell us to get ready because Mashiach is coming. But in between, there is a tradition that Eliyahu comes. Hanoch also went up to the heavens without necessarily dying. God took him. Right? Eliyahu, in between, we do have a tradition that he comes to every Brit Milah. We put a chair there, we call it the chair of Eliyahu. We also have a tradition that he comes, when else? We open the door for Eliyahu.
The Shabbat or Pesach?
Pesach. During the Haggadah Shel Pesach, we open the door. Not Eliyahu, not that I know of. Anyways, this tradition, this is sort of like a spiritual Eliyahu, that his spirit comes and joins us. We're going to have to understand what that means. But it's not necessarily a physical embodiment of Eliyahu. But those are the associations with Eliyahu. But in terms of teaching us Torah, maybe that's preparing us for Mashiach. But no, the Torah, at the revelation at Sinai, there was no Eliyahu. The first Eliyahu didn't even exist yet. At the time, there was Moshe Rabbeinu, who was the go-between, and some of the revelation at Sinai was direct from the people, from God to the people. So no, I wouldn't be surprised that there's no Eliyahu here. Eliyahu is not necessarily associated with teaching Torah. Maybe he's associated with getting us ready for Mashiach. What does it say? That the prophet Eliyahu will come and help return the hearts of the sons to the fathers and the fathers to the sons. It's maybe an element of bringing peace. And bringing peace, intergenerational peace, which sometimes is a problem. The old folk don't appreciate what the young kids are doing, and the young kids don't appreciate what the old folk are doing, and there's this sort of gap. usually represents a break in the tradition because we need that chain of tradition. So Eliyahu is going to repair that. So you could say that he's sort of paving the way for. The truth is, Mashiach is associated with teaching us the Torah. Mashiach will be guiding all of the world to proper belief in God and proper practice and bringing peace on earth, no more wars, those kind of things. But I don't think it's surprising here that Eliyahu was not mentioned when it comes to God giving us the Torah. All right? And that's bracha number 2. Hamelamed Torah l'Amo Yisrael. God teaches Torah to the Jewish people. Wow, what a gift. What a gift. That's bracha number 2, but I think I told you that there's 3 blessings. The third blessing actually does start with a Baruch. Baruch Hashem, the next line, it's 6 lines from the end of the page. Baruch Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam is how it starts, and how does it end? With another Baruch Hashem. So we say, Asher Baruch Haba Kolam Amim v'Natan Lanu Torah, chosen us from all the people and given us this Torah, and then we conclude it with Baruch Hashem Noten Torah. Here he's not called the teacher of the Torah, like in the past one, in the past blessing. Here it's called, you're the giver of the Torah, Noten Torah. It's interesting, you notice, in Hebrew we have past, present, and future. So how do you say, in the past tense, God gave us the Torah? Who knows their Hebrew tenses? That's future. And the verb is natan, nun, taf, nun, to give. So in the past it's natan, in the future it's yitain, and the present is notain. So this is in the present. Baruch Hashem, notain Torah. The giver of the Torah. In the present tense, that means
No.
that we are being given the Torah even today. In this classroom, right now. Hashem is giving us the Torah. We believe that the chain of tradition and this concept that God is there when we study Torah, and He is behind this Word of God. His divine presence dwells within the Torah. And so when we study Torah, we're actually touching God. God is giving it to us. It's like hand to hand. The divine presence, you can feel it sometimes when you study Torah. God is within this tradition. Even though we're not prophets, we sometimes can have a little intuition, maybe. Ruach HaKodesh, the divine spirit, at least our holiest leaders, and tzaddikim, and talmidei chachamim, rabbis, merit to have this divine guidance when they study Torah. In any case, these are the 3 blessings. So if you don't say those before class, you're not treating the class properly. You should be going over to the next neighborhood over there. It's called the Hebrew University. You can go study there all you want in the library. Not too far from here is the brand new building of the National Library. I haven't seen it in person. I saw pictures. It seems like overwhelming. Beautiful. Beautiful. I'm all in favor of libraries. It's a good thing. Books. And it's wonderful. But it's not the same thing as studying Torah. Studying Torah is a religious duty, and it's a religious practice. Now you could study Torah there. Most people there, they don't say the blessings before studying Torah every morning. Maybe some of them do, I don't know, but whoever does, you can utilize the services of the library. But the point is, in your personal life, are you treating the Torah with the proper attitude? That it's the divine word. We study it because it's a mitzvah to study Torah, and therefore there's 3 blessings. Each one of the blessings has a little bit of a different emphasis. Exactly. Beautiful. You're focusing in on the words of the concluding part of the blessing. Usually they show you the essence of the blessing. Good catch. So you should be saying these 3 blessings at least before coming to class. And of course, the Shema you have to say to make that window. And Zof Zman Tefillah is also now, this is the end of the window for saying the Shemona Esrei.
You can't bypass.
It's hard. It's hard to justify coming to study Torah when you've got a mitzvah to do, that it's a time-bound mitzvah. The mitzvah that has to be done on time. So you really should make sure that you say your prayers. And regarding the Torah specifically, according to the Ramban, this is a mitzvah from the Torah. You must recite these blessings before studying Torah. So don't, I wanted to show you this. What happens at the end of page 11 and page 10? What's those last three lines? Page 10 and 11 at the bottom.
It's a blessing.
No, we just said three blessings.
Yeah.
So what's the rest? What happens after the blessings?
So from the Torah, Mishnah, and the Gemara.
Good. We actually put it into practice. The last three lines on page 11 and page 10, the last three lines are actually verses from the Torah. In other words, if you're going to make a bracha on a drink, what do you have to do right away?
Drink it.
Make a bracha on an apple, what do you have to do? You have to take a bite right away. So some people say that the same thing with the if you make a bracha on your tefillin, what do you have to do? Put them on right away. Make a bracha on the tzitzit, you got to put it on right away. So make a bracha on this mitzvah, the mitzvah of the Torah, studying Torah. You got to get it after saying the blessings. You've got to study Torah a little bit. Now it's true. You're going to come to class. But that's a half an hour later. Hopefully, at least. So you have time to say all the prayers. An hour later. So you're going to be studying Torah later in the day, but there's going to be an interruption between your blessing and the class, the actual studying of Torah properly. So the tradition is that we actually do a tiny little bit of study right after the blessing. And the way we do that is by reading 3 verses in the Torah that happens to be beautiful verses. May Hashem bless you and protect you. Wow. Beautiful blessing, beautiful pasuk. Happens to be a pasuk of blessing, but it's not a blessing, it's a verse. In the Torah, it's actually part of the Kohen's blessing, right? The Kohanim bless us every day. The mitzvah for the Kohanim to bless us, they recite these passages. But every Jew recites them on his own, not as a blessing, but as a study of Torah, because it comes from the Bible, book of Bamidbar, chapter 6, as you can see in the footnote here. So that's a little bit of Torah study already. You come to class, you should have already been studying Torah outside of class. Bamidbar, book 4. Yeah. You can see the English is numbers, and the English side has numbers. It's book the 4. Yeah. Okay, and the truth is, as Hiyov said, we don't only want to study the written Torah. We want to study some of the oral Torah too. So turn the page. Top of page 12. There's 2 passages. One is from the Mishnah and one is from the Gemara, and we study, those are the collections of the oral teachings. And so we study all 3 of the major books, right? The Talmud includes the Mishnah and the Gemara. So the 2 major books of Judaism, the Tanakh. So we read a pasuk from the Chumash, 3 psukim from the Chumash, and we read a Mishnah and it's actually a Braita, it's brought in the Gemara. These are not verses of blessing. These are teachings about various practices and their laws. The first one is a law. What's the law in the first one at the top of page 12? These are things.
It's a type, it's a throne.
Close, but no cigar. What's the top? What's the title say? The title says, these are the things.
These are the page second.
Top of page 11. Top of page 12, excuse me. Top of page 12.
Things for which there is no fixed measure.
Okay, what does that mean, no fixed measure?
There's there's no fixed measure. I mean, it's like flexible.
What do you mean? What's a measure?
Measure something like it's
No quantity.
it's a standard. You cannot.
That's right. There's a standard, like we said before, that if you eat the volume of an olive, you have to say the after bracha, right? So that's a measurement. So there's no fixed measurement about these mitzvot. About the brachot, there are fixed measurement, how much you have to eat. But about this one, there's no fixed measure. What are the topics? What are the things? So there's a list. First one is the corner of the field. The corner has no measure. How big is a corner? Could be a tiny corner, could be a big corner. The corner of the field, what is that about? Why do we even talk about the measurement of a corner? What's a corner?
Farming, agriculture.
Yes, so what? Okay, so who cares how big the corner is?
For the poor.
Huh?
For the poor people.
It's actually a mitzvah in the Torah to give tzedakah. You've heard of that before, right? Everybody have a coin, you put it in the tzedakah box. The Torah says there's a special kind of tzedakah that it's in kind. You don't give money. What do you give? The produce of your field. Actually, the field itself, or the produce that's growing in the field, you're supposed to leave it. Don't harvest your entire field. You have to leave off the corner of the field. How big of the corner do you leave for the poor to harvest? No measurement. No measurement. You choose. You decide. Could be a lot, could be a little. First fruits. What are those?
Offerings.
Yeah, what kind of offerings? What? Where you got to take it from your field, the first ones that ripen, and you take them up to the temple, and you offer them as a sacrifice. How many fruits do you have to take up? One pomegranate or 100 pomegranates? No measure. That's what this Mishnah is teaching us. These are things which have no measure. There's no fixed measure. You can choose to bring up 100 pomegranates or one. It's up to you.
So there's no minimum.
No minimum and no maximum. Got that? That's the measure. You have to bring up something, but no minimum. Appearances before the Lord on festivals with offerings. What does that mean? Well, there's another mitzvah. That on the festivals you have to go up to the temple before the Lord and bring an offering. How big does the offering have to be? Does it have to be a sheep or a goat that's worth 100 shekels or 1,000 shekels, or maybe a really big sheep that's worth 5,000 shekels? A pigeon? Yeah, maybe you could bring a pigeon. Whatever is a kosher sacrifice according to the rules of the temple. But how much do you have to spend on it? You get the idea? No measurement, no fixed measurement. That's a list. So 1, 2, 3. What's the fourth item on the list? Acts of kindness. Acts of kindness. Give me an example of an act of kindness. Very nice.
Visiting the sick.
Visiting the sick, right?
Visiting the dead.
Attending a funeral. Yeah.
Helping somebody find their way.
Helping somebody find their way. Helping the old lady cross the street, right?
Stop what you're doing.
That's right. That's right. Amazing. So many acts of kindness you can do. Like you said, just smiling. But you know what some people do? Some people, you guess you have to be pretty rich and not have to work. So they take, or sometimes they once a month they'll take off a day off work and they'll go volunteer and help a farmer, harvest his crop. We did that, remember? Right? So sometimes they'll do that twice a week. Sometimes you see a guy helping the old lady cross the street, and then he waits on the street corner, and another old man comes and he helps him across the street. And then another old man comes and he helps him. And then there's another guy waiting by the supermarket helping people carry their bags to the store. A tremendous amount of chesed. Each act is a mitzvah of acts of kindness. How many should you do? 1 a day? 2 a day? All day long? Once a month? There's no measurement. There's no measurement. How many times should you smile at your wife and say, "You look lovely today"? Every day, at least once. It's an act of kindness. You could do mitzvah with your wife also. It's not only a mitzvah to be nice to the old lady across the street. Got to be nice inside the home too, right? The greatest opportunity for act of kindness are inside the house. So that's no measurement either. And the last one is, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items in the list of things that have no measurement. You can study one class. How many hours a day are you studying Israel? Now that you're in yeshiva. I know you have a business in Hong Kong, but you got to spend some time on it. But how many hours do you spend studying Torah? Approximately. Each day.
Yeah.
3 hours. Oh, okay. I would wish it would be more, but this class alone is almost 2 hours.
Yeah.
More than that.
So probably more than 3 hours you study Torah. You don't go to any other classes?
Not just Torah, and including and others with the people. Torah not 1 hour.
When I say Torah, I mean all kinds of topics within Torah, Mishnah, Gemara, Halacha, not only the Chumash. Torah topics, the Jewish tradition, that we're studying in yeshiva. So how many hours would you estimate? More than 3, hopefully.
So it's minimum 2 hours in prayer.
Do you count the prayers?
Prayers is not quite studying. I wouldn't count prayers. No, that we have a separate calculation for prayers.
Just Shabbat.
That's right.
Finish Shabbat and then maybe 1 hour.
You can study for an hour, right? You don't have the opportunity, but here you are in yeshiva. I assume you're studying Torah more than 1 hour, more 2 hours, 3 hours. For you, 5 hours a day, you think at least. Yeah, but you guys, you're part-time. Eov, how many hours? You're making a calculation now. 8 hours? 8 hours? 10 even. Good. Right. Wow. When I was in yeshiva, I was a serious student. Sometimes, not always. Oh, even this was before I was studying to be a rabbi. I just loved studying Torah. I realized it's such a great mitzvah. I think there were some days I put in like 13 hours, 15 hours. You just take breaks to eat, to pray, and to sleep, the 6 hours, whatever you need. The rest of the time, you're trying to get in all the studying you can. Yeah. You should study Torah. There's no measure. Some people don't. They're busy at work. You do 5 minutes.
Some days 30 minutes.
30 minutes. If you have to work, you have to do other things. You can't. You don't have the luxury that we have nowadays. But all you guys are here. Baruch Hashem. You've carved out the time and space, and you have the finances to support yourself. You got all your meals prepared for you in Machon Meir. You don't have to spend time cooking, washing the dishes. Somebody does it for you. So you spend the extra time studying Torah. There's no measurement to how much Torah to study. There's no measurement to study. So we just learned the Mishnah, okay? We learned the Mishnah. I hope you said the Berkot HaTorah first. Every morning we study this Mishnah as just an example, as a sampling of Torah before we get to the really long class.
This word at the top, Elehu Devarim She'ein Lahem Shiur.
Right, Shiur is a measurement. That's exactly what it means, yeah. We use the word Shiur for a lesson because it has a fixed time. The lesson is 45 minutes, an hour and a quarter, whatever the lesson is. It's a fixed amount, and so it's a fixed topic of study by content-wise. But you're right; it's a different usage of the word shiur. You're used to the word shiur as a class, but in this context, the word shiur is being used as a measure. We use both. We use both meanings of the word.
Then they have a gemiliyut hasadim. Gemiliyut is like
it's a fancy word for doing acts. No. Doing acts of kindness. Here it says acts. It doesn't say ligumol chesed. Gemilut chesed is to do, to give. Like a gamach. A gamach is from the words gemilut chesed. These words here, if you take the first two letters of the first word, gimel mem, and the first letter of the second word, it spells out a word, gamach, which is an acronym which many people use for projects of kindness. There's all kinds of projects of kindness. One of the most famous types of acts of kindness is to lend out for free. Free loan societies are called gemachim, the plural. There's free loan society for the most famous today in Israel, free loan society. They call themselves Yad Sarah, and they give medical instruments like wheelchairs and crutches and oxygen tanks and even baby carriages and baby chairs. Everything that's associated with, extra medical needs, they give them out for free. They loan them out. You got to bring them back. And they're called Yad Sarah, and it's a wonderful, wonderful organization. In America, I think you pay a lot for your medical services. Part of it is that, if you need crutches, they give you crutches from the hospital. Here, the hospital doesn't give you crutches. What do you mean? You just put my foot in a cast. How am I supposed to get around? They say, go to Yad Sarah. Go to the Gemach, the Gemilut Chasadim organization. Gemilut Chasadim is a fancy Hebrew word for doing or giving acts of kindness. Ligamol is to give, to grant. Maybe grant is the best translation of ligamol. Grant acts of kindness. All right. Okay, any other questions? Let's proceed. Let's go to page 231 and pray for our hostages and for our soldiers and for all the other people who are evacuated from their homes. We're not forgetting our brethren here in the land of Israel and around the world, whoever it is suffering from anti-Semitism. I saw a horrible, descriptions of what was done on the October 7th. Just 3 days ago, the New York Times published a piece by a non-Jew and a reporter, but he's a good reporter, well-known reporter, and he did the legwork and he went around and he interviewed more than 100 people who were eyewitnesses, and they saw just grotesque, horrible acts of inhumanity, really, from, I don't want to get into the details, but of course, rape and the Hamas soldiers and the civilians who came after them, and they believe in it. They're proud of it. They filmed it. They themselves filmed it on purpose. They brought photographers so that they could see the massacre that they're doing. They think this is a good thing. It's really inhuman, and we have to fight. We're in the middle of a fight against it now to uproot it from at least from our region. We got to go there and get them there too. It's a mitzvah to uproot this evil from the world. But anyways, terrible things. So yeah, we're in the thick of a battle. I hope we succeed at least of getting rid of these evil these barbaric people from our neighborhood at least, and keep our civilians safe, keep our people and our country safe. Because they say it. If we had the chance, if we had the weapons, if we had the opportunity, we'd come and do it again. To each and every one of us sitting here. So we definitely have to protect ourselves, no question about it. And Bezrat Hashem, with God's help, we'll be successful. And one of the ways what we can do, even though we're not soldiers on the battlefield right now, and we're not, is we can pray. We can pray for Hashem's guidance and assistance, and of course, to release all those people that are still under the thumbs of these maniacs. Yeah.
I have requested for that matter take me home. How can you get this, if it's possible?
Oh, you can buy them in the stores. I think they're selling them. There's a campaign raise public awareness that we should never forget the hostages.
Nowadays, in the Jaffa Road, is this shop called Fox. They sell it. I heard from internet.
So one of the groups, trying to raise awareness, they decided on a trick, on a campaign that they're selling these little metal. What are they called?
Necklace.
Dog tags.
Dog tags, exactly, a dog tag. So every army soldier has to wear a dog tag. It has his name or has his number on it anyway. So in case you can't identify the body, so we look at the piece of metal that's engraved, and we know what they are. Anyways, it's become a symbol of the hostages that we're not forgetting them. And now there's two versions. Someone else made where we have a terrible illness in our societies that we love to fight with each other and to argue with each other. So there's another dog tag that has a little bit of a different emphasis, that we're going to win the war, not emphasizing so much that the hostages, the other ones fight. Emphasis. We like to divide ourselves up. It's a really big problem. We need Eliyahu to bring us together so that Mashiach can come. But they're both good, and if you can get them, it's good to keep your awareness. I mean, we pray 3 times a day, special prayers, extra prayers, and now every class we pray for the hostages and for everybody under distress. So the entire Jewish people, there's over 100,000 people that can't live in their homes because they're close to this war or that war, the north, the south. It's a pretty extreme situation. Some say it's the worst situation since the foundation of the state. We're very lucky that we're able to keep on pretty much our regular lives. We come here to study, and we have our normal meals, and we go to sleep at night, and but it's thanks to the soldiers that are on the front lines and doing the work for us. Mm-hmm.
So the people who passed away on October 7th, was it considered nefesh?
Absolutely. So it's a tricky thing because a lot of people, they're thinking in the categories which we have for usual times. In usual categories, we shouldn't be judging others, but we do. I judge someone. We have to judge them because there's laws. We say, this one, he doesn't keep Shabbat. So can I count him for a minyan? Right? We talked about this the other day. And can he touch the wine if he doesn't keep Shabbat? And he's observant, he's less observant. So we're always judging each other. And if you use the regular rules, well then, we all know that about 300 people of the 1,200 that were killed, the numbers are just mind-boggling, they were participating in a party on October 7th. Some people call it a rave. It was an all-night party. They went to this big, expansive area that they flattened out near Gaza, and they were dancing. I even saw pictures of that to make the area into a festival. They put up lights, of course, and they had fences and they had bathrooms, and they put up a statue. Looked like a Buddha to me. Even though 90% of the people there were Jews. And I'm pretty sure probably 99% of them did not believe in the God Buddha. Nobody was bowing down to that statue. But it became a symbol of, freeing your consciousness. Like in India, a lot of Israelis go to India after the army and they learn to be open to spirituality. And anyways, for marketing reasons, I believe primarily, they put this big golden statue of Buddha in the middle of the festival, and they're all dancing around it.
Sometimes it's the promoters, it's like people don't know.
Exactly. That's right. That's right. They just want to come and dance. They don't, Well, so clearly it was Shabbat. They weren't keeping Shabbat. They weren't. Maybe they make kiddush. I don't know, but they're playing music in the electronics. That's not really in the spirit of Shabbat. Let alone the sexual overtones and acts, which the mixed dancing is not according to the strict letter of the law. Let's just put it lightly. So they're not an observant people, and it even looks like avodah zarah, right? It looks like you're worshiping idols. And so, if we were to judge the people in the regular categories, we'll say, well, these people are not observant of the Torah. They're sinners. They're sinners. But all of a sudden, every single, I won't say every single, but most great rabbis, I'd say 90% of Orthodox rabbis in the world are saying that those people that were there were holy. How are they holy? We just said they're sinners. How are they holy? They're considered holy because they were killed for one reason only. They were killed because they were Jews. And any Jew that gives his life because he's a Jew is considered a martyr. Somebody who's holy. He gave his life for the sake of God and the Jewish people. Right? The Jewish people is known as the people of God. And so, because you identify as a Jew and you're living your life in the land of Israel, because you're a Jew and you're putting yourself under danger.
It's like somebody punishing your children.
Yeah.
I'll discipline my children. I don't want a stranger coming across the street and hitting my kid. That's
right, for sure.
Who the hell are you?
That's right. So God definitely cares for his children, and anybody who gives his life as a Jew, because he's a Jew, is considered to be a holy person, despite of whatever, I'm sure a lot of them were very good people. And what did we say yesterday? That a lot of the non-observant people in Israel have the halachic status of the baby that was kidnapped, right? There's a Jewish baby, gets kidnapped, and he grows up his entire life like a Gentile. He'd never had any teacher to teach him Torah. We don't consider him to be guilty. Every Shabbat, he smokes his cigarettes and eats non-kosher every day. He has bacon for breakfast. We can't say that he's guilty because he never knew any better. He's a baby captive, they call it, a child, an infant that was captured and grew up without any knowledge. Many of these secular Jews didn't know any better. And still today don't know any better. Some of them do. Yeah, pray. No, it's fine. It's fine. You can come in. I'm just about to pray for the soldiers, so we'll let you sit down while we pray. Okay? In any case, yes, we're praying for all the holy, the martyrs as well, who gave their lives because they were Jewish. We're just talking about October 7th. Somehow it came up.